There we go. We are live with episode 8 of Chasing Adventure. So, quick recap for what happened last time. You found yourself in the Feywilds. You find yourself on top of a giant tree in a house, and you um, decide to go exploring. You found basically what is not the Mages Guild, but is called the Magi is what they call here, the House of Magi. Um, disguise yourself, kind of went on a chase scene as guards saw something was up and caught through disguise. Eventually, you convinced the guards that your teleporting sword had the queen, was like pointed at the queen, and if they want to protect the queen, they better do what you say. It led you down a tunnel. You found a giant crystal dragon at the bottom of the tunnel, where your sword was, because that's where it actually teleported to, by accident. You got your sword, and you barely got out with your lives. Technically, I don't think any of you got hit, but you still barely got out with your lives. Meanwhile, the rest of you went and saw, oh, the queen is actually having a big grand speech where in the like middle of the hollowed out giant tree that everything is around. Uh, let's give our own speech to get her attention and to make her like us.
Yeah.
And it worked. So then she invited you to come with her to the palace, and you did. And then she asked you to kill that crystal dragon. Um, and then a messenger appeared and said that, yeah, the Chaparral, the plant people's capital, has just been successfully teleported into the Feywilds. And that's what happened, I think. I don't think I missed
I
anything.
think that's about it. Yeah.
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 What we're supposed to do is hard. Like, how do we address the plant town? Um, and
Yes.
the magic
Not our
dragon.
problem.
Yes.
The magic dragon's our problem.
Well, I mean, how susceptible are plant people to lasers?
You haven't tested that, but
What? How hot
the
does a
Fae did
magic laser
secretly
get?
have pretty hot, probably. The Fae did secretly had made a strong presence in the Chaparral lands. So if they're using more like gem laser tech, then it's probably pretty effective.
Saying we could send the plant people in first.
So I think that's where we open up with. I think we see one of the Scarab Knights, the ones with the like mechanical beetle wings, that they wear and fly around on. Um, this is where they went to, by the way, when they flew off and then got teleported back to the Feywilds when the Chaparral town did. Um, we see them flying overhead. We see them flying over like through this enormous thick jungle overhead. Um, and it we see the knight land um on in the middle of like a small town square. It doesn't look like it's a village, but it looks like it's like a outer neighborhood of a city. Like there's certain parts that it would look very similar to a
They
village.
teleported the suburbs, is what you're
They
saying.
they tell their teleportation included both downtown and
Mm,
the suburbs.
yeah. How many? What is? I can't think of a meat-based beverage that the plants would be consuming in a
Obviously, it's bacon
chain-like
shakes.
capacity. I was trying to make a Starbucks joke, but I blanked on what plant coffee would be for these like flesh-eating plants.
Oh,
It's just
plant
adrenaline
coffee.
glands. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's adrenaline extract.
Gross. Oh God, it's just.
Yeah, that's their stimulant. Is they drink adrenaline, and it's like
Oh
caffeine for
God.
them. Mm,
I'm
okay,
trying to think how you would make that into a delicious beverage without
You
fruit
can't.
juice.
They don't have taste buds.
they probably taste things, entirely
Plants
separately.
have taste buds. Some they have
Plants,
like
yeah,
You need to go
touchy
and teach them the
senses.
rune of tasting.
We need to show them the root of tasting.
Yeah, but how do you make like a beverage with adrenaline
Maybe
without
I think someone showed them the rune of
uttering?
tasting, and then they banned all necromancy. That's probably what happened.
They realize how horrible their
Yeah, they said we
dialect.
must bury this secret.
Anyway, the meat juice vendors are everywhere. You
Hmm.
could have to. Yeah.
But we see, I think the Scarab Knight like basically announces to the like everyone shut their doors. Everyone, there's not many people there. Some have fled. Some are just hiding, and it. I think they don't have. I don't think a megaphone, but I think it's probably actually a pair of Scarab Knights. But they land, and one of them just like a herald of sorts, just like announces to everyone who can hear, like basically telling them, yeah, you're in the Feywilds now. You are separated from like the rest of your world. If you like, we will come. We're gonna come by soon to process you and uh, deal with the fact that you are here. But for now, just basically letting you know, there is no point anymore in putting up any more resistance to us right now because they've been fighting a war with them. Um, and I think, yeah, I don't think there's anything specific they like give away or reveal that you don't already know. It's pretty normal, just like telling the citizenry that they are this is what has happened, um, and don't go anywhere, or bad things could happen to you.
And the
Um,
meteor crashes.
I think that's actually not only does a meteor crash. I think that a meteor crashes, and I think we see one of the trees starts to like. I think it. The tree's too damp to easily catch fire, but there's a lot of smoke. I don't think it catches fire in a way that spreads. But yeah. Um, and then the herald will add on like, yeah. Also, there are a lot of meteors here, so stay near like trees or other cover. And then they start to like they just take off and start flying over to the next town. And um, I think we see two of our characters, Vorfoli and Dallen. You are watching this from underground as you have dug your way up to the to like to the surface, which is now this, at least this part of it. Um, and I think we probably see you from like underneath several tree roots. You have had to dig your way around a bunch more roots as you got to the surface because even they got teleported in here, and you witness this.
Oh man, it's a good thing I perpetually have the sense of the right direction, so I know exactly where to
Mm.
go.
As a reminder, that is sense in the right direction to where the dragon is.
Well, I know that's the right direction, so then I know the opposite direction is where I want to
That's
go.
that is how that works. It's like in video games where you like, do I go left or right? One is a side room with a bunch of loot, and one is the main story that won't let me go back. Which one do I go to? And it's
Mhm.
usually you just back and forth between them both until you figure out which one is which. Now you don't have to do that anymore.
Nope, I know exactly where the story quest is.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I'm
Oh
turning
yeah,
off my
your
camera real
quest. You
quick.
have a new quest marker. Kill the dragon.
Yeah,
It wasn't there two weeks ago.
there's this waypoint
Yeah,
that's, and whenever you look around, there's just this like dot on the edge of your
it's
vision
like
that,
turn around, go back.
yeah, 650
Make a
meters,
U-turn.
six, yeah,
make a
650
U-turn when
meters,
available.
660 meters, 670 meters away.
Uh, um, okay, Dallen. So, what now?
I
I listen. I did my job. I was a dwarf and I dug you a hole. Okay, so
I suppose we go back to the house. I mean, that's the others are probably back there by now, right?
yes, and through Deus Ex Machina, we will all return to the home at the same time.
How do you get to
And
the house, or what's your intention for getting there?
um,
Because you're in Plant Town. in Elf Town.
Bottom of tree.
Yeah.
Yeah, wander through the plant town and find a way up. Hopefully
Find a
not through
conveniently
climbing
like
a rope.
You have until processing begins. Or I'm assuming you'll be thrown in a giant mulch machine.
These two don't look like plants. Put them in anyway.
They're weird plants. Okay, so we have big tree that is hollow in the middle.
yes.
Can I break through big tree that is hollow in the middle and
I
we can
think it's
climb the
hollow like
inside
the
of the
Empire
tree?
State Building is hollow.
Yeah, that. It's
Uh,
basically the size of a small mountain.
Oh. So,
Or the height of a small
okay.
mountain, more specifically.
See.
It is not called a world tree, but it basically looks like a world tree. But if it was like, if it looked kind of
It's
like
a-
the White Tree of Gondor, was
It's a
supersized.
it's a whole city, but you
Mhm.
know, up.
Yes.
Mm.
Can we see any other scarab knights around?
Not
Any of
yet,
their
but
wonderful flying
the civilians amongst the small like community here, they have started to exit their houses and are um, what's the right way to put this? They're talking to each other in a near panic, trying to figure out what to do. And as you're watching, you see a small girl with like a single large pink flower petal look like that's like half. It looks kind of like hair like it's on half of her top of her head. She's like looking over at you and thinks she sees you. She looks like she's the human equivalent of like 6.
Hmm.
I'm going to just
Go ahead.
look at her and go, and then we go back in the hole.
Exact
Just gonna
opposite
start
of what I
digging
was
somewhere
doing.
else.
Well, okay, I know. Oh, damn it. Because my only other thing would be like find a scarab knight and then decree them to let us back up.
Exactly. I'm wanting to find some of those scarab
Or
knights. They're the best.
now hear me out. This is an evil plan, but you could send wave after wave after wave of plant folk at the crystal dragon.
You see, these are civilians. If they were warriors, I would have no
I
problem.
did say evil plan. I did start with
And-
that.
And you're also neglecting an 80s movie trope. If you make friends with the little girl, you get Reese's Pieces.
I pop out of the hole and go make friends with them.
Do you?
No, we need
Okay.
to find a scarab knight, and then I gotta decree him to let us go back.
Okay.
How about pop out of the hole and just sneak away?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, sneaking. I'm good at that.
These
Hey,
guys.
you're small. I
Oh.
don't know.
Yeah, I think there is a slight danger here. Not. Yeah, I think that you will need to defy somehow to get by these civilians and for them not to notice you. Um, they won't. They aren't directly a threat or a danger, but they will kind of. If they recognize you as like, oh, you're not Faye and you're here, we need like, who are you? And you're gonna get all of their attention. All of these panicked civilians will look to you either as somehow the scapegoat dog and scapegoat of this and hate you, or there would be saviors. Either way, they will probably slow you down.
You could sneak away. I'll be the bait.
I still have a Fey disguise here, and also a move to get advantage when trying to pass myself off as someone.
Oh,
I'm wondering if
you're gonna be
we don't
processing.
go with the wonderful plan and just send them down the tunnel and tell them not to go to the very end.
No,
It saves them from the
You said not to
processing.
go to the very end.
It stops them from the processing, and there ain't going to be any Fae coming down there. And if they are, they're going to be.
you are putting a bunch of random ass plant people down the tunnel and telling them don't go that way. they're gonna go that way, and they're gonna see the crazy dragon, and they're all gonna die.
I
Why
mean,
don't
it's better than them staying here and
we
being
don't know what
processed.
processing means? We don't know what that means. That could mean that they just, they're given a stamp on their visa and they're like allowed in. We don't know what that means.
Look, both of these groups of people are our enemies. This plan at least has a little bit more of a likelihood that some of the civilians will survive.
What? We don't know they're gonna kill the
It's not
civilians.
that
Why do you
big.
assume they're gonna kill the civilians?
It's called processing. What do you expect it to be?
I don't know. They could just put them in jail. That's better than them dying to a dragon.
They just teleported them out of their home.
I don't. Why don't? Hold on. Let me give you a counter plan. Why don't I cause a big scene because you're in disguise, right? And then when the scarab people come to get me, you can leave with them, and it's a win-win.
So your more safe plan is get yourself, arrested.
I'm not getting
And
arrested. I'm causing a scene to have them come down, and then I will order them to take us back or take me back, and then you will be like, "Oh, I'll take them."
I mean, it has some level of promise. Let's see how it goes.
It also will help with my drive, so I'll get XP at the end of the session.
Because that's what's
After
important
agreement,
here.
reveal bias.
No takesies backsies.
We'll just see how badly it goes, and then default to my plan anyways.
Okay, what do you do?
I will reveal myself to the plant people, and I will give a rousing speech on having a stiff upper stem and how like you just need to keep the faith that things will be okay. And if they try to massacre you, then you fight them, but don't fight them before then.
Yeah, so
Perfect.
warriors to the front go down the hole?
Nope, not the hole.
Nope. They can
I
go to the
think
hole.
I'll be wandering around the side, like scouting out anyone who looks like they are a warrior, and pointing down the hole.
Lovely. Well, let's start. Yeah, as soon as you exit the tunnel, I think the little girl like tugs on her dad's hand, and
Roots?
he doesn't. She has to do it like a few times until he's like, "What?" And then she's just like, and then he looks and he gasps. Other people look at him, at you, gasps. After a few minutes or a few seconds, everyone like notices the dwarf who is walking up to them. And they look very perplexed. And I think eventually, I think the little girl's father is like, "What are you doing here? A dwarf in the Feywilds? Did you get caught up in whatever happened?"
Technically, yes. Not this thing, but a separate thing. But I can assure you, uh, while you might be afraid now, this I pull out my symbol. This law transcends dimensions where prisoners are treated fairly because you are all civilians. I assume. I look around.
Yeah, no, they are all civilians.
Yes, so you are non-combatants. Therefore, they should. I believe processing is they take your name, your place of residence, and then they might, stick you in like little um areas. I'm specifically not saying prison camps.
Yeah,
I'm making it
you're
sound way
given
better than it-
temporary residence.
until the
You're real
conflict is
dancing
over.
around this war crime you're suggesting.
I'm not suggesting it. I'm just saying, like, hey, this could be a lot worse, and don't be afraid. But
Be cool with the camp.
no,
Count your
no.
blessings, even if it's just on one hand.
But that doesn't mean you can't turn into warriors. So when they put you in these areas, you guys can like do like a la resistance, right? You can you could sharpen spears from sticks. Wait, you're made of sticks. Spears from bones.
Or you could go into the tunnel right over there where they're
Nope,
not.
not the tunnel.
Are you
The tunnel is the worst.
currently disguised as a fae?
I guess so, yeah, I haven't stopped it.
Okay, so there's like, yeah, as you walk up, everyone like gasps and like recoils from you as you appear. Um, and I think they're just like, he's with them. You're walking up, obviously, next to the dwarf, or are you presenting yourself?
No, I won't be next to you.
Okay, so you're like somewhere, like
Just at the
literally
side,
at the side.
leaning
Okay,
against a building or something, because that sounds like fun.
perfect. So they gasp. Everyone recoils. Everyone is scared. And it's like it's another Fae. What do we do? Um,
You fight.
Yes!
are you going to try and
The
incite
riot
an
against
angry
me.
mob against Dallen?
Yes, because Dalek can slip away in Foley's mind. Dalek can slip away, and then they'll just fight the Fae.
What if Dallen runs into the tunnel before slipping away, thus tricking all of the Fae to run into, or all the plants to run into the tunnel?
I will lead them. I will not lead them down the tunnel.
Do you want to use "I am the law" to
I am
command
the
them to
law.
follow or to?
Oh, now it's
It's changed.
decree.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
decree. So you want them to follow you against the Fae?
Sure. Listen.
Okay.
I'm not leading
Gather
them
in
down the
army.
tunnel. I'm not leading them down the tunnel.
Okay.
Fight the Fae is better than fight the dragon that we need to kill. Alright then.
Let's see how this goes.
Are you helping me?
What kind of question is that?
Yeah, like are you
Sure,
playing
I'm
up your
helping
villainy?
because as you incite them to fight the Fae, I'm still desperately looking for a Fae, and if we find one,
Oh
I will go
no.
and join them so that they fight the actual Fae.
Mhm.
Oh no! I'm being assaulted. I
Need
must find more
reinforcements.
Fey reinforcements to
Yes.
I must oppress these citizens.
I must oppress these citizens. All right, that makes it a normal roll instead of a disadvantage roll.
Okay.
Didn't we rest at the end of last?
We did. I have a permanent scarring due to
Oh, right.
mushroom antics. Uh, yes.
No.
I get an XP though.
You do get an XP.
That's what matters.
Okay. So I think in this case, um
You're half
yeah.
dead. Fight the Fae.
Sorry, what did you say, Marissa?
Nothing. Don't
Okay.
ignore.
So I think yeah, as you're talking up, they are like, yeah, it looks like it's working, and they're like, yeah, what? And they start to form the remnants of an angry mob. And then through the because you're in a jungle, even you can't even really see the sky very easily. So just like falling down from the sky, completely surrounding you, um, and hovering above you is a half dozen scarab knights with their javelins pointed right at the dwarf. Um, the villains immediately scatter completely.
Scatter?
They
Or
scatter.
scurry down a tunnel?
They
No,
scatter
yeah.
into their homes
This is a
and
failed
like or
roll.
away.
This is
No, they do not
specifically what he
specifically
didn't
seek out a
want.
barely visible tunnel that they don't know where it leads. That does not scream safe to them.
I thought there was meteors.
There are meteors. They do happen often, but they don't happen. The tree is blocking a lot of it since you're
Oh,
kind of right
okay.
under the tree.
I thought they were summoned in like a demolition zone.
The further out you go, the closer it is to that. It was
Okay.
a lot like that when you were here last time, because you were quite far away from the tree.
I point my elven guard spear at the dwarf.
Okay. You're trying to like before like they just like yeah surround you like obviously and you're immediately just trying to like pass yourself off as a Fae.
Exactly. I was one of them. I caught this guy.
Okay. I think for now your disguise will just hold. They'll mostly ignore you for now.
Okay.
But I think one of them they're all like fully armored and everything like that, and one of them says, "Drop your weapons. Get on the ground. We won't have to kill you."
Let me counteroffer with I'm sent here from your queen to deal with a certain problem she has under the tree.
Well, you're not under the tree.
I was under the tree. Here, look, I'll show you my hole.
I don't think they're willing to let. These guys are not willing to let you just move. I think
I
you
will
can
point to
tell.
them where the hole is.
Yeah, I think the closest one, like, briefly looks just by turning his head. And he says, "So there's a hole there.
I-
If you're telling the truth, we'll take you to the commander, and then he'll clear it up. But I've never heard of a
I
dwarf working with us."
These are strange times. When you have a giant, blue dragon under your tree.
What? You know what?
Yep.
I think the someone else is like, speaking nonsense, Sergeant. Actually, they'd say, let's take him to the commander. Agreed. And yeah, they repeat, like, once again, like, comply as we capture you, or we will do worse. Last chance.
Through the authority of interdimensional law. Listen, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It just didn't work last time.
You know that even on a 10+ with that, I can choose to attack, right? Now, you will have advantage forward if they attack, and you choose that on a 10 or higher. But just a warning.
I'll pipe up and say, shouldn't at least a few of us see and if whatever he's saying is true down that tunnel? I mean, a giant blue dragon under the tree sounds like a problem.
Yeah, you don't need to just take me away from here and then have it be like you could go verify yourselves and I'll just stand here. How about that?
I could
The sergeant, who looks identical in armor, the only reason you know they're the sergeant, because people have been referring to this one as sergeant, looks between both of you and says, after a second, looks at Dallen and says, "And who are you, soldier? Only the Scarab Knights were in this area. And you're clearly not one of us."
A meteorite hit the branch that I was on. It collapsed under the weight, and the fire. I fell, and a bunch of other people with me, a bunch of fae. We're just trying to find our
I'm a
way back
fae,
up
yes.
when you teleported the chaparral here.
And how did you survive the fall?
What?
Okay.
Balconies? Awnings? Like,
I was on a very soft mattress when in my house when it fell.
Well,
You
what happened
teleported them in just in time, and I fell into the fountain in the middle of town.
what happened was, as soon as we hit the ground, I jumped, and then I was good.
real nimble like that.
Yep.
Great
Something.
reflexes.
Yep. I was tossed off of tall things all the time as a child to practice. That's how it worked.
I'm immune to falling damage now.
I've slowly inoculated myself against gravity.
First, I'd fall 5 feet, then 10 feet, and I
Yep.
kept going.
Yep.
Now I can fall up to 500 feet and not notice.
Built a tolerance.
Okay, I'm liking all of this and claiming it all.
Really? You're actually saying that?
Why not? It's stupid and so much
Don't you have a power for tall tales?
You do.
Exactly.
Okay, so you're not passing yourself off with your disguise. Okay.
Well, I'm doing both because passing yourself off isn't a roll. It's just whenever you're doing that, you get
Yes.
advantage. So,
I guess so. Roll for tall tales.
okay. Tall Tales advantage. 11!
So
Look, you really need to learn.
I have
you
no
know?
issues. This is that move working as intended. It's just been weaponized against me. So yeah, I think there's a pause, and I think one of them says, "Sergeant, is that possible? Think that can work?" "I don't know, son. Our school was destroyed 50 years ago in a meteorite, just before I was gonna go." "You're that old, Sergeant?" "Shut up." And the sergeant, like, you can tell they like under their helmet and stuff, they're squinting at you and like trying to read you. And we lost Jordan. It looks like.
Yeah, his power
Um,
went out. He put a thing in
again.
Discord.
Okay.
California.
Yep. But he says, either way,
Oh yeah, they're doing the power shortage there.
Mm-hmm.
we're
Forgot.
gonna have to get you back to safety. Sure. Is the shield having issues again? I haven't heard ever since that school got hit 50 years ago. They made sure
Wait,
to.
I mean, there was a whole bunch of shaking before the branch got hit.
Oh. All right. Well, come with us then. What were you saying about the
Probably
dwarf again?
characters. Oh, just that he should probably come with us, but whatever he was saying, like, I don't know. If there is something like that under the tree, some of us should probably check it out, right?
I mean, so the tunnel that you just came out of exits just under and between the roots of a like normal sized large rainforest tree. So at first they're like, wait, under this tree or under like the tree? And then one of them like starts poking their spear into the tunnel to like maybe there's something under there right there.
I mean, the tunnel has to be somewhat person-sized, so.
Yeah, but you can. I assume you were crawling through the tunnel because that's a fraction of the amount of digging needed.
Probably.
Oh yeah, you look absolutely filthy.
Yeah, covered in dirt.
Just covered head to toe in dirt.
Exactly. That's why I
That's 'cause
said that
the meteor-
I fell
the
through
meteor dust.
meteor damage. Yep.
You
Fire,
landed in a
lots
bunch of
ash.
mud. That's why you're covered in dirt. It dried. Okay.
Yep.
You want to convince them to scout out the tunnel and abandon the prisoner and
No, just some of them. Not abandon the prisoner entirely. I mean, we still need the ones to get us up, but I figure, hey, we wanted to send an army against the dragon. Apparently, I'm not supposed to send army of frightened citizens. So how about, well-equipped
of-
elves?
Okay. Perfect.
It's a couple fewer of them, and, the dragon having a blinded eye or something might be useful.
Okay.
If this turns out the dragon can make laser zombies or something, this is a
that would be
we've
bad.
already seen the statues, so I'm pretty sure, unless it can reanimate those. Oh no, I'm just giving the TM ideas.
So I think that the sergeant turns to you, Dallen, and says like, we'll scout out the tunnel later. Whatever's happening down there, if whatever you're saying is true, or could be true, I need to verify it with the queen. I'm not losing good soldiers in a time like this.
It's a danger to these good new citizens or slaves of the empire. I mean,
empire? We're not an empire. He like squints at you and he says like, "Wow, we really need that school back."
Wait, when did elves become uneducated?
When they never rebuilt the school. No, not actually. But this guy joined the army when
instead of school.
Instead of high school, probably. No, they definitely have school, but I think the sergeant is playing it up a bit. But he looks and he's just like,
tunnels going into the ground is probably not a good idea. Who knows might come out of there, or who might escape down there. We should at least send someone to look it out.
A team.
Okay, I think now you're trying to compel them against to prevent vague dangers, but just in case.
It's very important, those vague dangers.
Yes.
Okay.
Shouldn't be too hard to fool Scarab Knight Beetle Bailey. I mean,
Yep.
Oh.
Listen,
This
education and intelligence are not the same thing.
so this is not the Scarab Knight commander.
This is the sergeant.
Okay.
Commander's not here. They were going to take you to the
Hmm.
commander that you previously met, but now you're saying to do this first.
Okay. So it's just compel. Does passing myself off as someone still count, or no?
They have accepted your identity, as strange as you are.
Beautiful. That still asks, does it still count?
It does not still count, but also that means that even on a 6 minus, they won't
You know.
break that. It won't break that disguise.
Okay. The
Oh,
there we
there
go.
we go.
8.
Okay.
Sure.
So they'll do it if you favor them afterwards. So.
Yeah, sure.
So
I'll
I think
favor this guy.
I think the sergeant is about to say no when you hear someone say, Sarge, I don't like the idea of this vague, like, monster down below. What if it came with the thing? What if, it's gonna attack any moment? You know what happened last time? We thought something was fine. We got completely destroyed. Back at the portal. Uh, it's like, I think the sergeant's like, shut up, Caldwin. But if you're so eager to go, fine. You go in there. Take Arnwald with you, and I think they say you. When we get back there, you better tell everyone you can how good of a job we did.
Absolutely. First thing on my mind, you were willing to check out the danger, and all is well.
All right, we're Emerald Squad.
All hail Emerald Squad.
No, all hail the Queen. Oh my goodness. Huh, you did not pay attention. All right. You do check it out. Report back afterwards. We're going to take the prisoners in for processing. Let's cut here because I don't know how our dwarf will still feel about processing after saying it's totally fine. So I think we cut back to I think we might still be in the throne room.
I think we were at T to justify the level up.
Perfect. So I think, yeah, we see you're in a fanciful side room, basically, with a large table and cart full of various teas and snacks. The tea is probably very sweet. I think they probably make it out of like tree syrup or something is kind of one of their main flavorings here.
So like maple syrup
Instead of sugar, I guess, is what you'd add to it. Yeah.
I'm gonna ask for some tallow. Put in my tea.
Yeah. There.
Just a wad of fat.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just a cube of fat. I think that the queen would have some, but like even you'd see maybe 3 or 4 cubes there.
Yeah, that's just hot water and tallow then.
Yep.
Good.
Perfect.
That's mushroom tea.
Excellent.
Gross. That's
Yep.
just...
So I think the queen is sipping her tea and she says, before you embark on the task that I ask you to do, I have some questions for you. What is your relationship to the spirits of nature, is what we called them, on your world?
We
It
just
seems
directed at the mushroom.
she's eyeing the mushroom more, but I think she's actually asking just both of you in general.
Oh.
If there's a pause, she will elaborate a bit more on her reasoning. And she says that most people that we ask about this do not seem to even know them. but my people, we knew them very well.
I'm a myconid, and I speak for the trees. Little Lorax pun. But yeah. Uh, yeah, I could commune with them regularly till we pass through that portal. Unfortunately, on this side, it seems to be a bit, well, they ain't answering the phone.
That's because there is none to answer here. There are no spirits of nature here. There never were.
Where is here, anyway? Like, astrologically speaking.
Well, as you put it today, this is the donut hole, so to speak. I should start from the beginning. She fidgets with one of her like has two large hoop earrings. She fidgets with one of them and unclasps it from her ear, and presses a like hard to see until she presses it button on it. Um, it splits into four segments that then float around the edges of this room that you are in. And following her gestures, she is able to have them project basically holograms on each of the four walls.
I
I
think
guess
it's
there's six walls.
intersecting lasers. I just think elves use laser magic.
That's fair.
The holograms are made with like intersecting small little lasers.
Yep. No, I think that they yeah, you're right. They so I don't think it's around the room. It's she has them all fly above and below and all shoot lasers into the center to create a hologram over the table that you're on. Um and she says that long ago we worshipped the spirits of nature as gods. We believed them to be our creators. As far as I'm aware, that might still be true, as we have seen evidence that they created other species
Oh,
afterwards.
plenty of evidence of that, all right.
Indeed. But a very long time ago, there was just us. And we were utopian. The hologram changes to show um, a. It changes to show the tree as it should have been, or maybe as it used to be. You see it flourishing and alive, not dead and white looking, but instead like a normal like brown tree color with green leaves. Um, and there are um, so the buildings and the um, on the tree and the branches and surrounding the lands around the tree look different than your usual medieval buildings. I think they look a lot like sleeker and a lot. It kind of looks like a mixture of Fey and almost like sci-fi architecture, where everything is like these weird arch and like weird shapes, like an architect had a field day designing some of the weird like building shapes and looks here. Um, and the queen continues and says, and we were increasingly learning and gaining in knowledge and not power, but ability. This frightened the spirits of nature. Even now, they despise civilization. For that is what we became. And so, in a fit of fearful rage, they ripped us from the world.
Excuse me, I do believe that was the space giant.
Anthropomorphic personification of spirits, space giant. It all gets lost in
Yeah.
translation.
She pauses and she says, that is a misinterpretation of a sort.
No, I distinctly remember being taught in primary school that a long time ago, the Earth was a disk held aloft by the giant of the sky, and that one day the elves angered him and he punched them out. I remember this very clearly. And if I had my primary school textbooks, I could even show you the cute illustration in there.
Was your primary school on the south of the continent by any chance?
In fact, it actually was.
Yeah, the queen, um, the queen's hologram changes to show the donut with the hole filled in. Zoomed in just enough where you can see the tree as a tiny dot. Um, and she says there was no space giant, but the spirits did get assistance from what you call the mother dragon. She.
Mm,
We do not know much about her because she appeared very shortly before our exile. Maybe they created her, or maybe she came from elsewhere, but she is our jailer, so to speak.
is that who's in the basement?
No, but it is related. No, the dragon is still in your world, the mother dragon. She
Mm,
uh, orbits through the hole every so often, and whenever she does so, she reinforces our imprisonment. She checks the locks, so to speak. No, what is below is her primary warden. Her ears on the ground guard, so to speak. They have been quiet because whenever we would do anything that threatened to free us before, they would, I guess I would say, cause problems. And the hologram changes to like, I think you see um, branches or group or like entire sections of the tree with just like large claw marks and like crystallized parts on it. Basically, it would just rage and destroy things. We haven't found a way to kill it. That's why I'm asking you. We found a way to, well, something has changed over the years, and it has lost its edge. It used to be it wouldn't communicate with us, but it acted in such a way, with intelligence, with recourse that clearly communicated sentience, that communicated that it held back sometimes. It was our warden, but if it had disabled something, or if it had made its point clear, it ceased. Now it is acting more like a feral beast, both more lethargic, less watchful, but more rabid and dangerous if provoked. Something has changed in it over these centuries, and I do not know what, and I will not risk finding out.
Cool. All right. Um, sounds like an impassioned plea about all this, and Bert's very wrong about the space giant.
She says, like, well, I mean, sort of the mother dragon is a large, gigantic creature in space.
No, no, and this is not what giantology teaches. You're you might be right. Never very been much of a churchgoer myself, but
She shrugs
there is contention.
in polite apology. But she says to you, Mike, the spirits of nature, they do not want us to return. They see us as an
Yeah,
enemy and a threat.
I do get that feeling. I mean, when you took off that first chunk of land, I consulted with them to see if they could give me any reasoning behind what had just happened, and they just demanded the murder of one of y'all. They don't like you much.
How do you feel about them?
Hell, without them, we're all dead. With
About
them,
that.
you're dead.
Yeah, she says, about that. Not necessarily. You can't kill a spirit of nature. It is impossible. We tried. But there is a way to, I suppose, reset them of a sort. When you cannot permanently kill a spirit of nature, for it will return. But when it does, it is like a newborn infant, bereft of all memory and malice. It is possible to eliminate them as a threat without threatening the world. It is also possible to put them to sleep.
Are you suggesting that we hack the planet?
She says,
Can we rewrite the laws
technically,
of
we're
nature?
just restoring the backup to the planet to the way it was after they hacked their own planet.
But won't they, using the same inputs, just come to the same conclusion again eventually?
Last time we were the only species. I mean no disrespect and cannot say for sure, but I suspect they now created a variety of species to keep your differences and your conflicts I believe they intentionally keep you, all of you, under limited, so to speak. Keep you from developing too fast.
Turn to the mushroom. We're going to do something about these limiting spirits in the world.
That'd be the
We
life wells. Makes sense. If you want to
we
slow
need to
someone down, you put something in their way.
we need to shut that down because I'll have it be known, no one will stand in my way, not even the planet.
I'm sure no villain has ever said that.
The legend will continue.
I, now, Your Majesty, I'd need a couple of assurances here. As my friend said, coming to the same point down the road, if this is all successful, kind of renders everything moot. Do you know why the spirits didn't like it? Like specifically what you did wrong in their eyes?
I do not, personally.
I'm just saying, if we
But
could
she looks like
find them,
yeah, she looks like she has more to say, but she lets you speak first.
yeah, if we could find a middle ground between y'all, I mean, might make for a better experience all around.
There is only one spirit I have ever known to compromise, and they are how we learned of the process of spirits' deaths.
Who is this?
Um, we need to speak to someone. Come with me. I have questions as well.
While we walk, can I ponder what the elves did to piss off the spirits? I would like to magically divine this information that centuries upon centuries of exile could not render upon the elves.
Okay. Absolutely.
Using my amazing
Deductive.
powers of deduction
Yep.
and a little bit of seduction, we're
Yes, of
going
course.
to
You seduce the answers from the
yes
ether.
from the universe itself.
I
Does that give
seduce
me
eternity.
advantage?
Sorry?
Does that give me advantage?
I don't think so. Unless
Okay.
I'm missing something.
That's a 9.
Okay. I don't see it yet, but oh, that's because it's not scrolling when I
Yeah.
that's
no.
strange.
It hasn't been all night. It's weird.
Huh. Okay. Um so they'll tell you a vague, twisted, or incomplete truth. Perfect.
Well, it's not really the GM will. Okay, sorry. I was confused about the wording. Like, I wasn't asking the queen what the solution was.
Yes, no, the
Just
GM will tell
pondering.
you. So
Yeah.
the question is, yeah, what did the elves do to get exiled? So they definitely so you have learned, and it is commonly known, that the nature spirits are like pretty much immortal and can't die. Which means if the elves, if the Fae discovered something that is not that, or some other method of like
Lasers.
pseudo death,
I
maybe
think it's
lasers,
lasers.
of course, because
I
everything
think
is
elves
lasers.
discovered lasers. And
Um,
that
and
makes the
that's their
spirits
weakness is
vulnerable.
lasers.
Yeah, the spirit's weakness is laser.
But and they, I think, it's clear to you, yeah, it's something to do with like they started killing nature spirits or like yeah, something to do with killing nature spirits was absolutely a part of it. Um, since that was not supposed to be possible. Even the pseudo death was never heard of. Yep.
Elves they got too strong.
Yep. But
So
yeah,
obviously, the conclusion that Bert draws, and it seems to be very clear, that if elves are to re-enter the world, they need to be taken down a peg.
Yeah.
Otherwise, nothing will
Need
change.
to have a regular old book burning so they lose all their knowledge.
Or more of a showdown. I might need to, even though I like the Elf Queen, we might need to duel or something. Make it very clear that they should not return to the old ways.
Okay.
I know just the guy to be the new leader of the elves.
You
He's
do?
a very useful sergeant.
Very easily manipulated.
I mean, you want to take him down a peg? I feel like
If only
this
Cathan
might...
was still alive, could sponsor him.
While we're walking and talking, can I scrutinize the queen?
Absolutely. And you
basically,
can
I'm
just keep the hold if you don't want to
So we're
use it
just
immediately.
walking in silence. Bert's thinking about the realities of the universe, and the mushroom's thinking about, like, what is the queen doing?
Exactly.
And no one's talking.
Yep.
Well, no, this is like as I'm having a conversation.
Oh,
with
okay.
the queen.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
gonna push myself for this.
Okay.
That's 11.
Perfect. Okay. So let me know if you want to ask any questions immediately, but it's the queen has guards with her. She's not obviously meeting with you alone entirely. But she starts I think she starts going into a room behind the throne room, and then she starts descending down some stairs within the palace.
Is this a secret passageway?
No.
No? Okay.
No, she passes by a couple different postings of guards that are here as well. Do you want to ask her anything in particular while you walk now?
I want to get a sense of like how I can make her open to the idea of dropping some elven ideals. So, like, how can we get them to go along to get along, basically?
Okay. I think you need to convince her that you get the impression that she cares more about her people's survival than their ideals. If it is not if she genuinely believes it would help with her survival, if she believes that presumably the spirits of nature or whoever their enemies are also willing to come to the table, then she would be as well. Yeah, she very much has been feeling that she has had no choice but to act the way she has, basically. But she takes you downstairs. Welcome back, by the way. She takes you downstairs, and you see a set of like 6 guards in front of one isolated prison cell in the dungeon. You pass by many other cells that are a lot more mundane, but
Anyone cool? Any cool prisoners, like with
yes,
giant swords or
no
mech armor or
there's a
something?
moment where someone after like there's just I think random civilians or other people there, and then you see someone say, "Bert, Bert, is that you?" And someone like scrambles to the bars and like presses their face against them, and the guards like telling them back off, and they do. It's your vampire friend,
Ooh!
and he
I
looks
forget his name.
so do I. He looks very haggard.
What?
It was
Vlad,
Vlad.
yeah.
It was like
Yeah.
very
Oh,
vampire.
Vlad!
Vlad!
Yeah.
Yeah, he says, "Bert, it's me. What are you doing here?
We're fixing things.
You're getting me out of here? Please, I'll give
Actually,
you as
yes.
many
Like,
punch
I
cards
look
as I
around
need once
and
I
it's
get
like,
back."
Ooh, yep. He's with me. I turn
The queen
to
favors
whoever
you, right?
closest guard is. He's with me.
I think she does, yeah.
The queen favors you. This guy's a random civilian. So first I'll ask you, like, who is he to you?
He's the blood transfusion guy. I go to him for all
I'm
of my
his
medical
healthcare
problems.
provider. I'm one of the best in the land at what I do.
Yeah. My personal, not my personal, he does run a public business. He's my primary care physician. He's like all of my problems. Vlad can handle anything. He's the best.
Vlad just like nods eagerly and smiles with a toothy grin at the queen. Um,
Very suspiciously pointy, toothy
yep.
grin.
And the queen looks for a minute, and then she says, "If you wish him to accompany you, I will allow it for now. As we leave, I'd rather he doesn't witness what we're about to do."
Yeah, cool. Can he sit on like a waiting area though? Maybe with like a cold beverage. You get him out of the cell. It doesn't really look like there's a lot of privacy.
We
Or
shan't be long, but if he is with you, he can be released under guard.
fair enough. Oh, and Dallen, not Dallen. Vlad, I have some reading material that might assist in your medical practices.
I appreciate that, but
Something to do while you wait for our meeting to conclude.
I I think my when I appeared here, all of my only half of my building came with me, and that half was hit by a large falling rock. Did not seem like a good thing. I think
I don't
most of
need
my
anything. I don't need anything right now, but this is just some ideas to get your practice back up and running. And well, I want to hand him the Necro Golems book. See if it can get even creepier.
perfect. We'll start like branching into bone marrow like replacement now as well as
Yeah.
blood.
Great.
Or for the infirm, animating the skeleton within.
Yeah. Yep. If you can, the human body, it turns out only the muscles are only 10% of the power. The other 90% that people don't use most of the time is the bones.
Is
So if
in
you
the
can get the
bones.
bones to like, yeah, he's gonna just start like a pseudoscience like self-help group, and just gonna make millions. That's what he's gonna
Yeah.
do. But he takes it. He's
I
like,
need to be on the ground floor of these things.
yeah, of course.
Remember who gave you this.
Yep.
When I go
I
off
will
the
never
meeting.
forget. As he takes the book and he starts like pouring through it because it's literally the only entertainment he's had in like
A hot minute.
It's been about a week.
it's 1 to 2 weeks, I think.
1 to 2 weeks in Magic Elf Jail is a long time.
Oh yeah. Um, the queen leads you onwards, and I think we see um open the cell door, and the guards do. There's like four of them guarding this one door, and they open it. It's like an isolated cell, and you see the skeletal figure without armor now.
Mm,
But a familiar voice says, "Finally here to visit me."
um,
I
God damn,
see.
this asshole again?
hey, I thought he was our friend.
Hell you been?
Yeah, you
I've
did
been
kind
a
of
bit
wander off.
busy planning dinner parties, decided to, you know, dabble in learning arcane wizardry, decided to figure out how to mix drinks very well. What do you think I've
Ooh,
been doing?
It appears you're
a liar?
fucking in a cell under guard.
Drawing in the
Seems like you were
dirt.
better off with us. Had to walk off
Actually, they
though,
don't
didn't
have
you?
dirt here.
You knew better. Oh yes, you did.
he again, he doesn't have to sigh. He sighs very specifically.
It's real impressive without lungs.
Yeah, and he looks, with his face, with a skeletal face, no armor anymore now. He looks at the queen, and he says, "And what have you told them?" And I think let's pause there and go back to the other two.
Yep. Portfolio was just staring off into space for 30 minutes, truly.
Yeah, he does that. It's okay. Hold on. It'll
Hold the
come
lights
back.
went out, sorry.
There's a no Wi-Fi symbol over his head.
Yeah, connecting.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, no,
No, we just in the TV show version, we just lost that section of like voiceover. So they just spent the whole time not addressing him to make up for the fact that they lost.
Yep. So yeah, actually, I do love that. I like that like we had a bunch of shots of Orfoli, but always from the back with like a stand-in actor.
Yeah, not talking at all.
Obviously way taller than he should have been, but it was filmed
Yep.
at a funny angle.
Yep.
Damn reshoots.
But yeah, while you were gone, Dallen managed to convince two of the guards to go down into the tunnel and scout it out in case there was some kind of vague danger there. The others are still going to capture you and take you to the sergeant and like verify everything. But like,
Is Dallen coming with,
yes.
or is Dallen staying there? Okay,
No,
I
it's fine.
will relinquish my arms to Dallen. That's what I'll do.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because presumably Dallen's the only one on the ground.
Yeah, no, they're not gonna.
I'll
They
make
have
it
air
so that
superiority and
it's
they have like
obvious
very
and easy
large
to-
javelins.
Hmm.
Okay.
So if he just puts them on the ground, I'll grab them first.
Sorry.
Even if he just puts them on the ground, I'll grab them first.
Okay.
Yeah, I would like throw them toward Dallen as the one who is on the ground and in throwing distance.
Yes. So the Scarab Knights, like, yeah, they lower down, they pick you up. I think one of them picks each of you up. Oh, no, there we go. We're good. And they start flying away with you both, towards the Chaparral capital. Away from the tree.
Uppies.
Yep. You're in a rainforest, but I think they fly above it, and you get a. There's like a cinematic musical shot, despite everything, of just like this gorgeous rainforest and huge. Um, it almost does seem reminiscent of the Fey tree, but in a much different way. They don't like live in a single giant tree, but they live around and have sort of carved homes in a collection of redwood trees, I think is what they were. And we can see that, yeah, in the center you can see that there's this collection of extra tall trees. Most of the branches have been completely removed, and they look reminiscent of like skyscrapers that have leaves on the top and are made of wood. But yeah, there's this like rising like note and music. And then as the camera continues to rise and show, there's several areas where like smoke is starting to rise in significant amounts, and the music starts to get like a minor note tone to it. It switches to that, and then
when you look up, you see the person holding you is in fact singing, and the minor note is the sergeant having a bass tone added to the melody. They're all singing.
Yep.
It's like a Oompa Loompa song.
Yeah.
I do my best to hum along.
It's missing some of the singers now that they lost two of their soldiers, but you know. There's supposed to be
like
vocals, but it's not.
Quartet.
Yeah, there were supposed to be vocals, but
there's
the vocals are missing. That's what both of them were.
We lost our tenor and our soprano. Damn it.
Yep. But they take you in towards the capital. And I think after a moment, you are landed right outside. It would be, yeah, the city gates, which in this case is this 10-foot wall. No, probably more like 20 feet wall of thick hundreds of layers of like barbed thorns that are kind of twisting together in this dark wood. Seems to be what this wall is made of, except for the gate itself, which has already been kind of not really smashed open. It doesn't usually actually need to be smashed open because these guys can fly, but it has been open. It is now ajar. Several more Scarab Knights are in front of the gate. In addition to them are in the distance you can see a group of chaparral plant people. They look different from most that I suspect most of you have seen. They have almost a biological caste system where like different types of plants of plant people have usually specific roles in society. These ones are the nobility, which are of course extremely flower-like, much more so than the small child with a single flower petal. But these ones are just like look like living roses or other things like, where they just are extremely colorful and extremely like thin, and they look dainty in a very specific way. Like they look almost delicate. Um, but one of them in front of a group of them is speaking with who you recognize as Commander Talus of the Scarab Knights, the actual leader.
This guy again.
Yep.
Yeah, he's our buddy too. He's on my
Yeah.
favorite list.
Well,
He's
I
in
don't favor
your
him.
favorite list.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think
What kind of
you're landed, and the
cyborg?
soldiers like fill everyone in on what happened, like prisoner, guest, kind of thing.
Wander over to kind of guard you more closely and say, right, so what's our plan now? Also, is your
um,
dragon okay?
Do you check in with
are,
him?
are you? Oh, let me check. Are you okay?
Yeah, and he says, you get the response back. Nothing's okay. None of us are ever really okay. We just pretend all the time. He's having
Mhm.
a mood right now.
He's
Yeah,
still all upset about the blue dragon.
he's fine. He's just having an existential crisis right now. He's been lied to by his deity. It is what
It
it
will
is.
happen to you.
Okay, start hanging up the phone now. Click. So I'm going to use what I learned in dwarf college, which is improv.
I hate that that's an official class at Dwarf College.
But yet it
Dwarves
makes
known for their ability to
sense.
yes and.
Yeah. Somehow it makes sense though.
Okay. He told us his name when we last fought, correct?
Talus is his name, and yeah, I think he did.
He's like the
Yeah,
bravest
I
and
think
most
when we
noble.
talked.
You talked it out with him after fighting, yeah.
Mm,
He is
okay.
a brilliant warrior and tactician. Unfortunately, his legion is a bit more
Not.
not
Right,
that.
they were the terrified ones.
Yeah, that's why when you
What
mentioned the
the
vague threat, one of
word?
them's like, Sarge. Yeah.
Good. I look up at the sky. Day Talos?
You just walk right up to him. The soldiers who are guarding you would not easily let you just walk up to him.
I walk up beside, ostensibly still girding the prisoner.
Mhm. I'm not
Yeah,
like right next to him, but I will like
you'll wait.
address him.
Yeah. Um, he stops and you see he holds a hand up to like stop his conversation with the plant people, and you actually like see the plant person, and their petals like puff up and like fold up slightly, and they look like they're huffing up a bit, like how rude. Um, and then you hear Talus call out, and you can hear it, but call out to the plant person like, "My apologies. I will be with you in just a moment. This must be urgent." Um, and he steps over to all of you, and he says, "I recognize you from the portal."
Yes, hello again. It is fortunate we meet under certain different circumstances than we did before. not as enemies, but perhaps as allies in the fight to come.
That is easy for one who has already been captured to say.
Oh no, I wasn't captured. They wanted to capture me, and as a show of good faith and goodwill, I allowed myself to be taken to you to speak about what I found underneath your big tree.
I'm sure. Well, whatever it is, we'll have to wait. I'm currently negotiating a complete surrender for the chaparral, and that is very important.
Oh, this is more important than that.
He raises an eyebrow. He looks at Dallen for like confirmation, and then he like, you aren't one of mine. There's another like Scarab Knight who is at least one more who's with you, and she's like, yeah, sir, we found this one. They said they fell from the tree and somehow survived and found the. It's a long story, but she's one of ours. He looks like he's
I'm
not
very
convinced, but he's
grateful.
willing to go along with it for now.
Do you know what is underneath your tree?
Roots and dirt, and probably something you're
And
about to tell me.
a dragon.
Did you leave yours there? No, wait, he
Nope.
didn't see
It
yours.
is.
Never mind, he didn't see yours because you didn't. He
Yeah.
didn't come through the
It
portal.
didn't come in. Yeah.
So he says,
It's a dragon
"Really?
that is sapphire, right? It was sapphire.
Yeah."
Which, as you know, I am an expert on dragons. Is not.
He's just like looking around to the others, like, "No, I don't know this. Who does he think he's talking to?"
I pull out my dragon symbol. This is my authority. And that is not any of them. This is new and it's dangerous because it breathes not fire or anything. It breathes like a laser, and it turns things into sapphires. And it's at the base of your tree, and it's very angry.
What's it doing?
It's guarding an egg.
He looks at you for a while, like trying to see like this has to be some kind of like ridiculous lie. Um,
I mean, two of your men went and scouted the hole.
well, then we'll wait to hear back.
Or they could already be dead. Now, what I know about
You
dragons,
just got here. We wouldn't know if they were dead until we wait an appropriate amount of time for them not to come back. How far
Or
away are
we
they?
could
Is
send
this
another person to go see if they're okay.
yes, the classic send one person to find one person, and then we train it and keep doing it. How about instead we go and talk with the queen about this issue and create the game plan?
You think I'm an idiot? You think I'm gonna let
No,
you within a mile of our queen?
I go with I don't have anything. I'm offering my services to you to get rid of a problem for
You know what
you.
your friend had? The one I fought before? He had a
You got to be more
gun.
specific. Oh, that one. Okay, that's very specific.
Yeah. He had a gun.
It, do you know what else that friend is very keen on not getting his hands off of? His gun.
You could
You
get a...
couldn't. You want to pat search me? You know, I'll just start taking off my clothes.
He lets you. He's not gonna stop you.
Mhm.
All right, but to be fair, if you're talking to someone and they just start dramatically taking off their clothes, you also like you might tell them to stop, but you don't
You
necessarily
don't get...
like try to physically stop them.
No. He's gonna let you take off your clothes. The other like guard who isn't Dallen will be like, sir, and but the guard's like, let him do what he's gonna do.
Mhm.
Um,
Ta-da!
the beard. Check the beard.
I start fluffing it out.
Yeah,
Well, you know,
one of them
check
produces
it.
like a long comb and like brushes it to make sure everything that's in it would come out.
Yeah.
I think they're married now.
No, you gotta braid your beards together. That's what you do. It's called tying the knot.
Okay. But yeah. So, I think Talus says, either way, if that dragon's not doing anything right now but guarding an egg, then I can wait at least a few hours.
Haven't you felt the shaking?
Yes,
Did you
What
say
I
that
was.
the
shaking?
dragon was doing that?
What
Yes.
shaking?
You
We
didn't.
just got
You didn't
here.
feel the. Before there was like 4 or 5 giant shakes of the tree.
We just
Not.
arrived in the Feywilds with the
Oh,
city.
well. You go ask anyone, and the tree has shaken about 4 or 5 times today.
Go check that out. The guard who's with you like salutes and like goes to tell one of the other soldiers who's kind of just standing around doing nothing. And you see that person like fly off towards the great tree, and the guard who was spoken to by Talus returns.
Now, can I put my clothes back on? It's very breezy here.
Check them first, but if it's safe, then yeah. And yeah, they check them for other weaponry. Do they find any other weaponry?
Um,
If they would, I will be the one checking the clothes. That'll definitely solve any problems.
they would not. They would find a giant tooth, 2 signet rings, um,
Yeah, no, I'll
a,
check those clothes and pocket that. Thanks.
a shield, a warhammer that is my signature weapon now, scale armor, 2 out of 3 uses of supplies, and my symbol is just I keep it around my neck.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I think in that case, they won't find any other weapons. Dallen, you can, I guess, do what you want with that. They're watching you check the clothes, but, you know.
Don't take my signet rings.
Oh, I'm taking those signet
I
rings.
don't think you would take your rings off in this situation.
I don't think you have to,
I don't think he was wearing.
unless you weren't.
I was wearing at least one.
Okay.
Okay.
Talus says, while you're doing, I need to verify what you're saying, because I do not trust anything you say. And you can wait here for at least a few minutes while I finish up a conversation with a very infuriating leaf man.
Would you like assistance in this conversation?
No! Okay, and then he goes,
I mean, don't you know that dwarfs and leafmen are on very good terms? Like, he might be able to help.
Yes, I could provide a third party lens into this negotiation. Have you heard of arbitration?
Yeah. Look at that dwarf. He's never eaten a salad in his entire life.
We have a strictly meat diet through one of our asteroids that goes to the meat
this
dimension.
isn't. This is going to be a near unconditional surrender. Your services are not needed, hero.
Right, but it's an unconditional surrender, but they need to feel like it's not an unconditional surrender in order to unconditionally surrender. Do you know how
That's
to
what I'm
negotiate
trying to
together?
tell them!
Otherwise, they will never stop fighting.
Exactly. So let me help you negotiate to where they feel like they're getting something, but they're not getting anything. I held out my
Roll to compel.
hand.
Can I help? I really want this role to, go along the lines
I
of.
think so.
Yeah, no, they surrender, but also, the people back home actually get the best deal.
Well,
Mm,
this isn't rolling for the actual negotiation. This is rolling to let you in on the negotiation.
all
Fair
right.
enough. I'd still love to offer my help.
Okay.
Thank you. A 7,
Okay. So,
and I get XP.
yep. If you favor them afterwards, so I think they say, well, firstly, I assume you're willing to favor him?
Yeah.
Both of you? Okay. So then, yeah, Talus
You
says,
came.
I am no diplomat. I'm a soldier. And I guess you are from this world, and he looks at Dallen and, like, sees the disguise, like, sees a Fae that is not a soldier, and he says, they might respond better to someone who hasn't been sieging them. Fine. One chance. But I'm doing this as a favor to you. He says, I think more to Dallen. Um, he says, don't mess it up.
I'll salute smartly and say thank you, sir, and then wander over there with.
Yep.
I will make it as smooth as possible.
Hmm. I'll be listening.
I'll make this as unsmooth as possible. I want to incite a riot.
Well, here's the thing, right? We make it seem like it's unconditional, but there's conditions that both sides don't really care about.
Yeah. So there's the crowd there. There's one person who comes forward to speak with you. The same person as was speaking with Talus. The crowd there is about 40 people behind them. They're not all identical as you get closer. Many of them look very similar in that same, like, extremely flowery um, poise and appearance, but many of the others look like, you see, like, very, reminds you of the walls a bit, like thorny guards that are like, they have weapons, and they look like they're guarding some of the others. You see what you suspect would be people who are related to each other based on, like, the exact same petals and patterns on different people, things like that. So there's, yeah, it after a bit of looking at them, it looks like there are several, like, small families, not the entirety of families, but like members of different families, and some attendants,
Hmm.
making up about 25 people there. As you
All
approach,
right.
you hear a voice say, "It's about time they sent someone serious. Who
So
are
you're
you?"
who I'm supposed to talk to. Okay. I will be your arbitrator for this negotiation. I am Vorfoli. Hello.
He glances at you but says nothing.
And you are.
Um, Here we go. He says, "I am Eniver, head of House Perrin."
Mm, N. All right. Um.
Eniver, Lord Eniver, in fact. I will not be, um, not denigrated. I will not be insulted.
It's not an insult. It's a term of endearment.
We are not friends.
Can I
We
ponder
should
this,
be,
dude?
though.
What was your question, Marissa?
Can I ponder this, dude?
You can absolutely ponder this, dude.
Yeah, and Vorfoli saying like we should be friends because I can get you a better deal.
Okay. Any help or just let's see what we know?
I don't know if you would know
I
much
don't think
about.
I'm talking while you're sort of doing this. I think.
Okay.
Fair enough. What might be the best way to get the deal which we want and have them agree to it?
Depends what you want, but I'll still give you some pointers even with that question.
And apparently I succeeded this time. 10.
All right. Um, so these guys, even from, you have heard, of course, of the House Perrin. They are one of the most powerful houses amongst the um, Council of the Sixfold Rose is the ruling body of the Chaparral. It's a noble house. It's a council of noble houses. Um, they all of them to have their own various flavors, but pretty much all of them that you know of are rather haughty, and it seems like it's less important to them what they're giving up. Not that it's unimportant, but it's the here and now and how someone is talking to them is more important to them than it should be. Um, if they're more likely to accept a deal that is bad for them and good for you, the more subservient you act to them, and the more it's just like the more you grovel, basically. They're not idiots though. They still will. They didn't get this powerful without being smart in some ways, but their priorities are in this situation at least, now that they're transported to another world, you strongly suspect that they don't really care about their people as much as they care about themselves and their own power, positions, and comfort.
Great, my favorite type.
I mean, they're easy to offer. You can just say, yeah, we'll just you give them what they want because that's a small price to pay for taking over their entire country.
Just give them a fancy house with guards posted out front.
Yeah.
We know this
I
great
know that would
building
hurt.
that is empty that you guys can hole up in.
Oh, I mean, like,
Only if they can bring all the
still put
servants.
them in prison, but instead of putting them in prison that feels like they're in poor prison,
Put them in
just put
mansions
them
that
in
have guards.
yeah, put them in guarded mansions. They're still in prison. They're just in fancy prison.
Make them understand that those guards is a sign of high respect
Yeah,
because
it's to
Yeah,
keep the
as
plebs
very
out,
important
not you
people,
in.
we
Yeah.
will offer you some guards for free.
Yeah, for your protection, purely for
Yeah.
your protection.
Of course.
You should never leave the protection of those guards.
Because
Otherwise,
they can't protect you out there.
They're very
they are
dedicated to their
very
jobs.
serious and
they will
loyal.
physically prevent you from leaving their presence.
With sometimes
And
lethal force.
imprinted on you as their masters. They will guard you with their lives and never let you out of their sight.
Yep.
The symbol of respect.
So, what do you say to them?
All of the above.
Oh, just,
Oh,
you're just gonna say
do you
in exchange for your for you surrendering to the nation, we will give you all mansions.
There is a bunch of empty mansions on the
There are
tree.
actually a bunch of
Oh,
empty
yeah.
mansions.
Yeah. So, do you let me know this is what you've sort of picked up on?
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
Is there anything that we really want out of this deal? Favor
I
with
think
everyone involved?
no.
You're the
For
thief.
Foley, want to make sure the other people are at least just not murdered.
Talos will chime in since he's in listening view, and he'll whisper to you for Foley. We need cooperation from them and information on their nexus.
Mm. Okay. Okay. Lord Enever Perrin, are you first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, or seventh?
I am the second.
All right, Lord Enever Perrin the second. These are the terms I feel like are most agreeable to both sides. For the chaparral, you and your uh, people of your caste and your um, helpers, pardon me, I'm not as wordful as you, but you and your helpers can be put in various mansions across the tree under guards who will guard you from the plebs with their lives. And the other chaparral will be put in normal prisons until the end of the war, or until everything simmers down. Uh, in return for this, the Fae would like to know any information you have on things like the Nexus, or what else do you want?
Continued
Their
cooperation.
unconditional surrender and cooperation, so they stop
I
fighting us.
yeah, I know. I'm trying to get it to where like these guys are good, and then you can say these guys surrendered, so the rest you. I'm giving you like leverage.
Hmm. He thinks to himself for a moment. And he says, like, we're after the Nexus. That was this whole plan. Bring it here with the portal. Find it now that it is here. We don't have
So
any other priorities.
got it. So you all will be put in fancy mansions with guards. The normal chaparral will be put into.
Will we get to bring our servants?
Yes, I said you and your helpers.
Good.
The normal chaparral will be put into prisons, and then they can work their way out. Right? You don't really care about that, do you?
Of
You want them
course
to
I
be
care. But that
Not
sounds...
you.
That...
I'm talking to
Oh. Well, you should have
Talos.
specified. Talos
Talos.
shrugs.
You want them
Talos.
to be productive members of the society, correct?
Sure. In an
All
I
right. So
don't
then,
really care way.
yeah. So they'll be able to, work and become members of society. In return, just sign on this line that these are the terms, and you give any information
What if I
and
want to see the
or
Queen?
that is a separate sort of thing. Bureaucracy, right? You would get put to the front of
No,
the line to meet the queen.
No, we are... The leaders of the Chaparral should... We require access to the Queen. If we're
I'm not
going to be
saying you
important
won't have
members of this
access.
society...
Of course, what I'm saying is that when you request to meet with the queen, she needs to make room in her schedule, correct? Like
Well, of
you have to make.
course. I'm not a
Yes, of course.
barbarian.
Yes, yes, yes. So it has to work its way through, sort of, so she can sort of plan things out. I think that's agreeable.
Priority scheduling.
Yes, priority
New
scheduling.
members of the nobility here.
And they just want the nexus. This seems like a fair deal for both sides, is it not?
I shall have to confer with my people. Just a minute.
Ooh, undermine his confidence that he has to confer. He's obviously not a good leader if he has to double check.
Well, he's not the singular. He's not the singular leader, is what you know. He is...
Yeah, but you can play on his ego.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In all due respect, Lord Endeavor Perrin II, this takes a strong leader to either agree or disagree to these terms, right? And I believe you are a strong leader for your people. Otherwise, they would not have you negotiating here for them. So if you believe these are good terms,
he like strokes a pedal that looks like a beard as you say this.
If you believe these are good terms, then they are good terms for your people because they trusted you, as you are so gracious and knowledgeable, that you would make the best deal for them. And I believe this is the best deal for both sides, is it not?
Roll to compel.
Information gives advantage? Yeah.
Yep.
Either way, you and your allies.
Roll with advantage when acting on the information.
Cool. I'm gonna take a condition to whiz because I'm annoyed that I had to do this.
You asked for it.
I know. I didn't realize you could be this much of a dickhead.
Why do you think Talos is in a bad mood?
9.
Okay. So I think that. Oh. I think they say, do I have your personal assurance that if anything should go wrong with this, you shall intervene? There's
Yes.
the arbiter. That
Never
makes
deal
perfect
again.
sense.
I will, if these terms are broken on either side, I will um, make a grievance to the great dragon above to rain fire upon whoever breaks these terms.
That's a metaphor for you specifically stepping in.
That is me stepping in.
If something should go wrong, you need to ensure that they get fixed or repaid in full.
Hmm. I just want to clarify here, because I am very dumb and you are very smart. I'm trying to understand
It's understandable. So,
where your superior intellect is coming from. So let's just say hypothetically that they renege on the deal and do something bad. You
yes,
want me personally to fight them about it.
you're the arbiter. You are in charge of this deal. Therefore, you must enforce it.
Sure. I will do everything within my power.
Which is considerable if you are doing this. It must be.
Mhm. Yep.
Good.
Shake.
Well, I think you are right. We agree. I will tell the others that it is the best deal. Hmm.
And as part of this agreement, you'll tell us right here about where that nexus is and what exactly it does.
Hmm. I believe that I will. I'm not the one
Oh,
who
Aaron.
directly. I think so. He says like, I'm not the one who is in charge of it. Let me go get them.
Of course. But we need to shake on the deal first.
Is that how things are done here?
Yes. So because I am the arbiter or the arbitrator, you shake my hand while I shake Talos's hand, and that seals the deal. Because I am the bridge who
What
brought
about
you two together.
this one? They say, like gesturing at Dallen.
They are part of the Fey forces that Talos is in charge of, therefore it still works.
I am the conduit for the nexus. I'm the person who will be providing that information directly to where it needs to go.
Yep.
I'm very highly pleased. Thank you.
Talos like looks at you very suspiciously when you say that.
Fine,
I
Dallen.
like a soldier who tries to work their way up in the world. That, you know what? That is a can-do attitude and taking initiative. You should promote that person, Talos.
Brave soldier knows what he's talking about, obviously.
He refuses to say something in front of the chaparral. and
All right, let's
yeah,
three-way
it's like
handshake. Seal the deal.
yeah, he like kind of okay. I'm gonna touch a meat person's hand,
Mm-hmm.
but he does it.
There.
And
If only this is Blades.
if only this was Blades in the Dark. But yeah, you shake on it, and then he says, "I shall just be a few minutes, I think."
So
And
do I favor this pedal man
yep,
or
you favor you
okay?
favor him, Lord Enever Perrin II.
The second. Oh, I guess there's also like an Esquire in there.
I think that's it right now.
Right. You'll gain
He
more
probably has
titles as
several.
we
He
talk
probably
more.
has several titles, but
Each time you
I
drop in,
suspect
he's
several of
elaborate.
them are somewhat invalid now that he's not on his realm anymore.
Mhm. Now he's got Lord Enver Perrin II, Realm Walker. That's
Yeah, he's unlocked that title, and it's just hovering over his name. Okay, so he walks back and starts talking to the others. You actually surreptitiously you see two of the other nobles surreptitiously, one of them hands a bag to the other. It looks like one of them was betting on whether he'd just take a deal, without consulting the rest of them.
I
But
look, I go, I want a cut of that.
yeah. He's talking for a bit, but while that's happening, Talos comes up to both of you and he says, "Good job. Now head back. I'll take care of the Nexus."
I told you I was here to help.
I meant what I said. I can provide you the information of the Nexus if you are the right person, but I've been tasked by the Queen to uh, find this information and provide it directly to her.
You've been tasked by the Queen to fall out of a tree,
That's what I was doing before I fell out of a tree. I was
and then
on
you
my
met
way
the
down.
Queen after you fell out of.
No, I met the Queen before I fell out of the tree. I was on my way down when the tree broke under.
Due to the shaking.
Which branch was it?
I am going to name whatever branch Catham's house is on because as we were leaving or getting there, actually, no, I don't think it's been
They're like
outside.
street names, basically. Each branch is a
Yeah.
street name.
Basically. I'll name that branch.
He's looking up at the tree and he's trying to see if he is even able to recognize the branch. He's not really able to tell.
I'll be doing my best to continue talking and distracting him from that.
Okay. I think you're part of this is defying his suspicion, but I think another part of this is compelling him to let you in on the Nexus stuff. So I think this will be a full compel, not a defy.
I don't know, because helping I am part of the consequence,
Yes,
correct?
you are. But
Mm.
Dallen already has advantage from passing himself off as someone else.
You should definitely help all the same because I will collect all the Nexuses and it will be glorious.
Yeah, just like thing.
Oh,
What
the
could go
sword's a
wrong
Nexus, isn't it?
in collecting a bunch of trans-dimensional artifacts?
That everyone is fighting over.
You know,
Mm.
I might bring in the cipher table for rolling on having too many ciphers with you at once.
Too many Nexuses.
No, it's fine. Don't even worry about it.
What could go wrong?
I will help by just sort of talking about how the shaking was so bad that any number of branches could have been broken. Right? I'm just sort of like lending credence, like talking about the shaking and why the shaking could be the egg is close to hatching. We don't know.
Okay.
Very reasonable.
In your head, the others don't know this, but in your head, you hear your dragon say, Zadrex says, like, it's not an egg.
Mm.
But no one
Let's-
else hears that.
It
Could
is
you
a
clarify?
You got a 9?
And I'm considering. Well, I favor them, so I can't really burn that favor.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Okay, 9 it is.
Okay. So I think they say after a bit, if the Queen really sent you, and everything you're saying is true, then you look like you're from the tree. Fine. I think you'll favor him in general, but what he says is, but when we find the Nexus, I'll be the one delivering it to the Queen. This has been my campaign and my mission. I know how this works. I don't want any credit being stolen from me.
I can't really lie here.
He's just saying it. You don't have to.
Accept this thing and I favor it. In which case, sure, I will accept it. Which means when I steal it, I will absolutely try and make sure he gets something else in compensation.
Okay,
I did not say that aloud.
I know.
Obviously.
But when you favor someone you already favor, a thing happens.
Yes, appease.
Here we go. Yep, I'm just pulling it up now.
But would he know that they already
It
favor?
doesn't matter if he knows. It's on Dallen's
Okay.
side. Either heal them or gain advantage forward to aid them or accomplish something for them. Or heal them with one
Sure.
condition.
I
Heal
have
him if he's
no
annoyed.
problem. Advantage forward aiding him to get the Nexus.
Perfect. So, I think the person comes back. I think you see Lord Enniver Perrin the Second returns, and he says, "It has been agreed upon." Um, he says, "We will show you to the Nexus." And he gestures to someone else who was walking behind him. And he says, "This is Lord Dalabranth. He is in charge of this item." Um, the man here is the only one who doesn't look quite like a flower. He looks like he's made of moss and um, not mold. I think mostly like moss is what he looks like, kind of. Um, and he says, I think he says, "Yes, I will show you to where this Nexus has been. We've been keeping it and studying it for some time. Um, it's in a bit of a secret, but it is here. I will show you. Just don't wait for me to turn off the security. We have some um, defenses in place." Talos uh, nods, but gestures for several of his soldiers to follow him. Like maybe 8. He's bringing like a full squad with him, basically, of the Scarab Knights. And he brings you both, and he says, "All right." And they start leading you into the city. We'll go to break there. Um, oops, hold on. We're not on break yet. Now